Hey guys, so recently I put up a question box on my Instagram stories to see if you guys wanted me to answer any questions on a Q&A video, and I was really surprised at the types of questions that I was asked. I guess I thought they were all going to be design related or different design projects. I don't know what I thought. Anyway, today we're doing a Q&A video. Okay, here we go. Question 1. How did you and your husband meet? We met when I was probably 11 years old, and he would have been 15. When his parents came to our church, the church that I had been in my whole life, they came when he was a teenager, and yeah, we met at church. There was a huge age gap. I mean, at that time, that's a big age gap, right? But him and my brother became really good friends, so he was over at my house all the time. And when I was 12, I knew I was going to marry him. And being the very mature 12-year-old that I was, I went and told everybody, including his then girlfriend. Anyway, it all worked out just fine. So we have been married now for 20 years, and yeah, we've seen each other grow up, essentially. Our relationship went from like his best friend's little sister to we kind of had our own friendship as I got older and was like in my mid to late teens. And then when he came back from college, I was all grown up. And the rest, as they say, is history. What are your top 3 tips for a successful marriage? Okay, so I would say first and foremost, forgive. The Bible says love keeps no record of wrongs. And in our marriage, what we have learned is that if you start keeping a record of wrongs, ways that you've been hurt or disappointments that you might have or unmet expectations, those little things can begin to add up if you begin to keep a mental record. So by just forgiving and letting things go, it's a lot easier to not hold on to this long list of things that often really aren't that big of a deal in the long run. So that would be number 1, is to make sure you're quick to forgive. The second thing I think for us is to seek to understand more than seeking to be understood. Really seeking to understand where the other person is coming from, what their perspective is. Really, truly trying to get to that place as opposed to get your point across has been really helpful for us. I should have asked my husband how he would answer this question. I would say number 3 for us is to invest in your relationship. So, like you dated at first and you really like spending time together and all that. Investing in the relationship, investing in the friendship, investing in spending time doing what each other likes to do, I think has been super helpful. People sometimes call it, dating your spouse. I'm totally 100% in agreement with that. We try as often as possible to get out, just him and I, connect over a good meal, chat with one another. Yeah, just keep on having fun together. Okay, this says, will you and Jeff do a podcast? We have talked about it. We are looking into it. It's a lot of work to set it up and to get the ball rolling, but it is definitely on our list of things that we want to do together as a couple, and we think it'd be a lot of fun. So yes, we're considering doing a podcast. How do you maintain a sense of joy even in hard times? 2020 has been a really hard year, and yet you seem to always be positive and upbeat. Okay. I'm not always positive and upbeat. So remember, when you follow people online, you only see what they put out there. For example, if you see someone's Instagram story and it's like 5 minutes for that day, which in the Instagram story world can be really long, 5 to 10 minutes, that is like a sliver of that entire day. So I would just say keep that in mind. I'm a really big proponent of don't put your junk on social media. Don't argue on social media. Don't have rotten attitudes on social media. I live my life that way. So I want people to come to my Instagram page or to my YouTube channel and just feel good about themselves, feel good about life, have a moment to escape from some of the stresses and pressures that they might be facing. So that might be why you feel like I'm positive all the time, but I'm not truly positive all the time. I am, however, very focused on being positive all the time. And I'll tell you that is because for years I was super insecure and I was super wrapped up in what other people thought of me. And it was debilitating. It's crippling to live your life worried about what other people think. And one of the things that I did to get over that was began to focus on gratitude. And I eventually made a list of 1,000 things that I was thankful for. And in the process of that, which took a couple of years, it shifted my perspective and it made me realize there was so much in life to be thankful for. And instead of focusing always on the negatives and the things that aren't going my way or the would have, should have, could have, wish I could, whatever, focus on the things that I do have and that I am thankful for. And that has been a huge help for me in maintaining joy and going through life with a better outlook than what I used to have. The other thing is my faith. I am a believer in Jesus and I go to church, I work at a church, and I am very much connected to my spiritual walk and in my own relationship with God. So that is the biggest source of joy in my life. It's something I spend time investing in. It's very meaningful for me. And in fact, I wouldn't be who I was today if it wasn't for that relationship that I have with God. So that's like the starting point for me. I heard that you used to be super insecure and you thought you were ugly. What on earth? Question mark. Can you share about that? I can. And actually, I will link to a video below. I was interviewed on a national television program asking to share a little bit about my story. So I'll link that video below. But essentially, I, like many teenage girls, I thought I was really ugly. I thought that I was different from everybody else. In hindsight, I was never diagnosed with this, but in hindsight, I really do believe it was a form of body dysmorphia. And I just thought I was hideous. I hated looking in the mirror. I took dance lessons, and every Saturday I would be at the dance studio and I learned how to dance without ever looking at my reflection. It was really crippling. And I just got really fed up one day and I was like, I must be believing a lie. I had been sitting and watching TV with my parents, scrolling through the TV, and this hideous alien creature came on the screen. And my first thought was, and I said it out loud, she looks like me. And my parents were sitting in the room with me, and my mom was like, don't be ridiculous. And they just kept scrolling. And I remember being so blown away at that response and thinking, they don't think that I look like her. Because, parents, they'd be like, oh, there, it's okay, honey. They would have had a way to make me feel positive about it, but it was a literal, don't be ridiculous. So that kind of planted the seed for me that maybe I was seeing myself wrongly. And I went on a journey of just seeking and praying and saying, Lord, if I'm seeing myself wrong, will you show me? And I remember distinctly going to church one night and going up to the most beautiful woman in the church, who I thought was the most beautiful woman. And I asked her to pray for me. And I just said, I think I'm believing a lie that I'm ugly. I need you to pray for me. And she was like, oh, girl, yes, come on. You are not ugly. We're praying for you right now. And I just really encountered the love of God that night for the first time. And I went home and I looked in the mirror and I literally had like an extreme makeover experience. And what I saw in the mirror was not what I had seen my whole life up until that point. And I realized I was normal and I looked like a human and that I was pretty. And it began a journey, and it was definitely not an overnight instant fix, but it was a journey of learning to love who I was created to be. And then as an adult, as a grown-up, I just continued to realize that I was created for a purpose and that I am deeply loved by the Creator. And if He loves me that much to put me on this earth, He's got a plan and a purpose for me. And just continuing to lean into that has given me more and more confidence in not comparing myself with other people, feeling really empowered to be who I've been created to be, well empowered to encourage others to be who they were created to be. And you'll hear me often, if you are on Instagram, you'll hear me say, you do you. And that's what I mean. Like, you do who you were created to be, and I will do how I was created to be. And all of that comes from this whole identity of knowing that I'm loved by my Creator, which really leads to this question, why is your channel called I Am Loved? And that is because I never would have been doing this had I not realized that I'm loved and I was put here for a purpose. I was too insecure. I was way too worried about what people would think to ever put myself out there, let alone have a YouTube channel. And as I continue to receive that understanding of how loved I am, I hope that other people around me receive that for themselves, and they know that they are loved and that there's a reason why they are on this earth. And if they do, then they can grab hold of I am loved for themselves, and they can have that be their inspiration behind why they do what they do. What are some of your favorite things and pet peeves? Oh my gosh, that's a hard one. Okay, some of my favorite things would be spending time with my closest friends. I made a decision years ago that I was not going to go through life without being open and transparent and vulnerable and having friends in my life. And it's hard, and you have to fight for that. You have to be willing to be transparent and let the ugly things be seen and just open up your life to people completely. But I made that decision years ago, and it was the best decision I ever made. In spite of, hard things that happen along the way, my favorite thing in life is spending time with my friends who know me truly and deeply, and who call out the good in me, who call me on my crap, who don't let me stay stuck where I am, but continually push me to grow, who believe the best in me and call me up to what they see in me and call me up to be who I could be. I mean, I love spending time with them. I love being that for them. I love that they are that for me. So my very favorite thing would be spending time with them. I also really love my church. I'm on staff at a church. I oversee our staff and kind of the operations that happen in the church, as well as our worship ministry at the church. So it's really busy. It keeps me going. But beyond that, I love the church. I love the people. I love seeing people encounter the love of God and being forever changed, and just the whole process of watching someone first realize that they're loved, and then seeing them be transformed by the love of God and begin to be free to be who they were uniquely created to be. It's just, I love the whole thing. I also love traveling. I heard one time, I don't know where my mom heard this, but I think the saying is that there's travelers and there's tourists. And I would definitely put myself in the travelers category. I don't want to just be a tourist and sightsee somewhere. I want to live and stay in homes or in apartments that are similar to what the locals in that area would be staying in. I want to experience the day-to-day life that they would experience. I don't just want to see all the places that all the tourists go to see. I want to see as much of it as I can. I have been to South Africa, Bogota, Colombia, Phnom Penh, and Siem Reap, Cambodia. I have been to France, and I've been to some places in Italy, and I love seeing the world, and I want to see more of it. Can't wait to travel again. I was supposed to go to Scotland and Ireland. Actually, I was supposed to be there right now as I'm filming this, but COVID. So anyway, I do love traveling. I also love sitting down with a really great cup of tea and my record player and just listening to some old vinyl. Makes my heart happy. And I love creating things. I love just, when creative ideas come, I love just trying to create things, whether that's spaces for people or graphics or different creative projects I've done over the years. On my website, I've got a bunch of free downloads, like a productivity planner for the year. I've got a 40 hanger closet guide that helps you kind of figure out who you are, what your sense of style is, and helps you only buy clothes that fit who you want to be and what your style is. Just anything that's creative that's going to help people. I really love spending my time doing that too. Home decor questions. I guess I was expecting more of these. The first one is, what are your go-to home decor stores? I want to preface the answer by saying this. A lot of the projects I have worked on, the majority of projects I have worked on, have been on a really small budget. So the whole idea of investing in a really great quality piece of furniture that's going to stand the test of time and you're going to have it and be able to hand it down to your kids, that whole kind of a budget really hasn't been what I've been working with. So that has dictated the stores that I go to on a regular basis, and including myself. I have a grandiose ideas of the perfect dream home and how I would like to decorate my house and what my design aesthetic is, but the budget dictates all that. So it's always do the best you can with what you have, even though you might not get actually what you want. So having said all of that, I would say HomeSense for like home decor type items. You can also stumble across the perfect furniture piece sometimes, but it's really hit or miss. They also have really nice area rugs. I do love Structube. They have some stylish pieces. So if you want like a certain vibe, a certain style to your home, I really like Structube for that. Not the best quality in the world, but a really fantastic price point. I also love West Elm. It's again, not the most cost-effective option, but their styles are just, I just love their aesthetic and their style so much. I think it's so beautiful. I'm really drawn to more of a mid-century modern kind of vibe, not entirely, but that's really what I'm drawn to personally. And they have some fantastic pieces, I think. And I also really love Article. Again, I'm talking about a certain kind of aesthetic and more inexpensive places. What has been your favorite home design project so far? I think the favorite one that I've done would be a condo that was an empty concrete shell when it was purchased. And so we literally got to start from scratch and pick everything. We got to kind of rejig the blueprints a little bit and make a couple of changes that would work better for the client's lifestyle. That was super fun because I felt very much like it was starting from scratch. I also really enjoyed doing my friend Ashley's home. They did their home kind of top to bottom. And for a project on a budget, that one was super fun. They just let me kind of pick the furniture and just have at it. And we had a really big reveal, a before and after reveal of their whole main floor. When they came back from vacation, it was like that aha moment and they got to see this after, and it was super, super fun. So I really like that project too. Okay, last question. What fun design projects do you have prepared for next year? Okay. I am currently working on a project with someone who lives about 3 hours away. They bought a home in the Muskokas, and I am here in the Greater Toronto Hamilton area, and I'm not able to go and see her home. So we are doing the whole thing virtually. So that's been a really exciting project. So I can't wait to share that with you in the new year. Also in the new year, there's going to be some new videos coming out about a condo the one that I mentioned to you that was one of my favorites. That is coming out. I'm going to be showing you their living area, the kitchen, and the master ensuite. Also, I'm going to show you one of the largest projects that I was ever involved in, and it was when we we designed a massive warehouse and we turned it into one of our locations for our church. So that's coming up. I'm currently working on helping a couple of people with some smaller projects with new homes that they just purchased. One, we are kind of putting a kitchen space into what's going to be like a bachelor apartment. And I'm working on a kitchen reno right now. So there are some projects I'm working on and some projects that I'm going to be sharing with you guys in 2021. And then in our own home, we're going to give each of our kids' bedrooms a little bit of an update. And we want to prepare our house to move. We don't have plans on moving, but we do want to prepare our home to move. So we are going to be adding in a second bathroom into the basement. We're going to be hopefully fixing up and making a decent laundry room and renovating our main bathroom. So as we do that, I will film that whole process and share that with you guys as well. And then other than that, I'm just kind of looking ahead to see what I can book. I only do design projects part-time because I work full-time. So it's a lot of saying no, recommending other designers in our area when I receive inquiries because I don't have a lot of time to give to it. But I do love it. There are some fun projects coming my way and I can't wait to share them all with you guys. Anyway, that's it. If you like this question and answer kind of video, let me know because I'm not really sure. Is this what you want to see here? I don't know. Let me know, comment below. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Take care and remember, you are loved.